We need to transform ourselves through innovation-led movement, and that's the purpose here. A model, a process, and a discipline. That's the intention of what this would be. Thank you. Sikya, please. And I request all the panelists, please.
Let me, before I introduce the distinguished people who are going to interact with you, let me also tell you what we did as a Madras Management Association. We really wanted to promote innovation, and when Mr. Rajiv asked us to join him, I think we really grabbed the opportunity, because very rarely you get people like Rajiv and his team to come and speak to us with distinguished panelists who are going to be addressing the audience. What we do is to launch the groundbreaking movement in field of innovation-led transformation. The Orbit movement will bring together 4 leaders who have led transformation in the toughest conditions with change-oriented leaders. Let me have the privilege of introducing the people who are the 4 leaders who have done that. I'm going to be interacting with you, and with Radhika and Rajiv will take you through the entire program, and also talk about the great book which is going to be launched this evening, is Orbit Shifting Innovation.
We work in India, but we have clients across the world. We work in Southeast Asia, we work in UK, and we work pretty much in America as well with clients. The interesting thing is, when you look at the name Airborne, the spirit behind it, sometimes people look at that name and wonder, what is that word airborne really? But if you reverse the word, it reads nowhere. And really that's where the spirit of airborne comes from. When you look at the word nowhere, it seems to be something that's impossible, that can't be done. But we believe that every impossible can be reversed, and every impossible can be made possible. And that's why we reversed airborne. And when you start moving from impossible to making something possible, you do it right now and you do it right here. So that's really the spirit of thought leadership that lies behind what airborne does. And the second thing is, when we're looking at what orbit shifting means, or what innovation means, is we're very clear that it's about ordinary people doing the extraordinary. And that's something that's unique about this book when you talk about orbit shifting innovation. We start, in the very first chapter, we start by asking, does innovation, when you talk about innovation, interestingly enough, 15 years ago when you talked about innovation, one company came up. I wonder if you remember which company that was 3M. So every time people only spoke about 3M. And then now, when you talk about innovation, the next thing that always comes up is we have a remarkable set of examples, whether it's Dr. B, who started Arvind Eye Hospital, or you have Scott O'Neill out of Australia. So all ordinary people. These are the kind of people, if you pass by in airports, you wouldn't even know they're the ones who created big orbit ships. So someone like, Scott O'Neill out of Australia, who's actually bringing a breakthrough solution to dengue by infecting the malaria virus inside the body of the mosquito. So that's amazing. We're doing something like that. Or someone like...
First India and then for Chennai. It's very fascinating that how those two dots join. I was a few years ago a member of a team which was created to propose what should be India's strategy for innovation. It's very fascinating that everybody very quickly narrowed down the purpose. It's inclusive growth. Essentially, we need innovation for inclusive growth, and because we need to think very differently, processes, products, business models, and as she mentioned, mobile is a very good example. So that's an example of not CSR. It's not CSR money being spent, it's not charity. It's a business model and therefore sustainable. And it's fascinating how it has impacted millions of lives. So the challenge is, how do you make the prepaid card, the business, the mobile revolution happen in every sector? And is there any reason why it can't happen? It can happen. So really that's India's vision.
Industry in the country has actually experienced degrowth after having grown at about a compound annual growth rate of 70% for the first 7 to 8 years. We are a 13-year-old company, so we've seen the ups and downs together. To us, actually, when this happened, when the regulator moved, and some of you might recall, there was an unprecedented step of the government having to issue an ordinance to prevent SEBI and IRDA from taking each other to court. That was the extent of the crisis that had got created in the industry on account of some of the practices that were going on. We actually used that as an opportunity, and it's often said, never waste a good crisis. We came alive with that, where everybody was sitting back and saying, we can only expect things to get tougher from here, we will all lose, certainly the industry is going to degrow and so on and so forth. We kind of challenged ourselves to say, how could we actually make use of this dislocation to leapfrog? And it really began as, first and foremost,
I would like to share our experience in terms of milk is always known as a daily commodity, a very, very short shelf life for the product, and it's very, very price sensitive also. And if you want milk at any time, somebody wants some milk at any time, any part of time, 24/7, and you have to go for something packed in a Tetra Pak, which is prohibitively expensive, not many people can afford. So that's when we thought of why not come out with milk in a sachet, and which will not be very expensive. So and also it doesn't require refrigeration. So it was a thought that came in, and we challenged the team within. And the team, I'm very happy to say that the team is able to come out with such a wonderful innovative product, and in fact we went on to patent that. The key thing is that it is packed in like a regular sachet. The material construction.
Started as a microfinance company. Today we do a lot of other products also. We are into vehicle finance, housing finance, etc. But initially we started microfinance. 2007, before we started this company, we did a survey of other microfinance companies, how they are operating, to understand what is happening in that sector. And what we found out is that the borrowers, from the borrower side, they are very happy to be associating with the microfinance company because they are able to get loans at reasonable rates compared to what they can get from other local money lenders. So they are very happy. But when we studied it from the microfinance company side, we found majorly two problems. One is that the operating cost of the microfinance companies was very high. It was in the region of 15 to 20% operating cost. And then the bank, they borrow from the bank. The bank cost was 14%. So effectively, with the 14% cost of funds and about 15 to 20% operating cost, it becomes 35%. So they are lending